Hey boys and girls! You know what real photography is? It's boring stuff. Doing product photography in my basement. Isn't that exciting? But you could do it in your underwear and watch TV at the same time. In my case, I was listening to classical music. And it pays well. And you don't get any lip back from consumers like brides or the family. Or you almost never get a bounce check either. Sorry about that. I had a serious question about Nikon. I'm a big Nikon fanboy, but I never do what any of these other silly YouTube photography channels do. I only recommend stuff that is worth buying, especially lenses, and also 2 cameras. But I had a serious question about Nikon. I'm not going to make any overtly bold statements here, since that always draws the ire of the hardcore Nikon fanboys. But I'm pretty hardcore Nikon. I got their logo tattooed on my hand, and I've owned literally many hundreds of Nikkor lenses, and still do, and cameras. So here's a perfect storm situation. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, The Perfect Storm. It's about a confluence of weather phenomena that basically devastated some people out in fishing boats out in the middle of the Atlantic. Here's the question. Now that we're moving into 2021, here's an undeniable fact. You could either accept this or not. There'll be a new strain of the bug, yeah? And then all these countries will lock down again. There'll be no travel. There'll be no travel photography. People will be more and more financially devastated. Now, Nikon announced last year that they're going to come out with 2 or 3 more DSLRs this year. And my question to you is, and I have no problem with DSLRs. Everybody keeps asking about the Nikon D860. Is there really anything that your Nikon D850 isn't doing for you? As an owner of a Nikon D850 for years, is there really anything that it's not doing for you? The only few things that it actually can't do is what the Nikon D5 and the Nikon D6 can do. That's ultra low light photojournalism for hardcore sports action wildlife. Is there anybody, this is really a serious question, it's not rhetorical, is there anybody out there that's looking forward to another, and by the way, when it comes to mirrorless technology, unless Nikon actually introduces a hybrid into DSLR technology, unless Nikon introduces a hybrid DSLR, is there anybody looking forward to that? Sensor coverage for autofocus is never going to be that big. A true DSLR, it's just not. Everybody now, including myself, is just spoiled rotten on near corner-to-corner autofocus point coverage. So, seriously, the question to you is, are you looking forward to like a Nikon D860? What is it that the D850 fails to do that you're looking forward to? DSLR technology can only be pushed so far. Unless it is a hybrid DSLR, which Nikon is so financially strapped, there's just not a chance that that technology is going to come out. There's just, it's not going to happen. So I don't know anybody that's actually honest with themselves and doesn't have rose-colored fanboy glasses on that's looking forward to another DSLR from Nikon. Combined with the fact there's going to be continued lockdowns because there'll be the spread of the new strain. You know it and I know it. The one guy that I've known now for 35 plus years who has never ever been wrong in the advice that he's given to me, never, told me a few months ago that Nikon is in such serious financial straits. It's unbelievable. Nikon has been losing money hand over fist for nearly 3 years now. Hand over fist, just losing it. Nikon has announced as of about 3 weeks ago that they're no longer going to make cameras. And I know there's a difference between made in versus assembled in. Okay, I actually know the difference between that. But Nikon is given up on 2 of their Japan factories because labor is a whole lot cheaper in Thailand. Also, exportation. Taxes, I believe, are radically less from Thailand to Europe and America. So there's never going to be another Japanese-made Nikon camera anymore. That doesn't really concern me any at all. People say, well, your D850 is made in Thailand. Yeah, I know that. My Nikon D500 that's filming me is also made in Thailand. That's not the damn point. The point is that the Japanese people, and you should know this, if you don't, then you don't know much, take pride of some of their quintessential products. One of those products in Japan is Nikon. Pride of manufacturer in Japan very, very seriously. For them to actually move things off to Thailand, you have to take off your rose-colored Nikon glasses and admit the fact that that is a huge financial indicator for Nikon. Okay. They also, too, what was it, a year and a half ago, lost, and also, too, recently, lost to Intel. They lost their lithography contracts, some of their huge income for lithography. That's moved to China and other places. Not that I'm, extremely knowledgeable on the lithography business. I don't keep on top of that. But all of these things combined means that I honestly, and by the way, I know a huge corporate person in the photography world. Well, actually, I know two. Yeah, one's located in Tokyo. Another one is a huge, huge person. I can't give you his name. I talk to him at least every few weeks. And he confirmed to me what my most reliable source that I've known now for 30, 35 plus years, literally that long. And Nikon is way deeper in the hole than you or I can imagine that they are. I don't wish doom on Nikon at all. The more competition that's out there, the better. I did notice that some other YouTuber, made a clickbait video like about 6 months ago saying, "Crikey, I sold off all my Nikon gear." And it was really a commercial for KEH. And by the way, I don't recommend anybody use KEH. KEH was sold off a few years ago. And they're not like what KEH originally was. Nobody should buy from them or sell to them. I say that because I'm not affiliated with anybody. If the most reliable source to buy and sell from for used gear is Used Photo Pro, and I'm not associated with them in any way, shape, or form, but those are the best guys. But that was just a commercial for KEH, and I just noticed someone pointed out to me that this YouTube personality bought back his Nikon gear. Nobody does this in the real world. Well, I'm going to sell off all my Nikons. That's not a photographer. No real photographer, no real working photographer does nonsense like that. It's like, is it a working tool that you can rely upon? Yes, it is. Does it get the job done so it brings in the money to pay the bills? Well, yes, it does. Well, I'm going to sell it. Nobody does that. No real working photographer. That's clickbait. That's pure click weasel nonsense. It's undeniably clickbait. And then, all of a sudden, I just spent a heap of money buying back a bunch of Nikon Z equipment. I don't care what anybody buys. People that follow that stuff and believe in that stuff, buying and selling stuff on the whim of another person that's trying to line their pockets off of your or anybody else's gullibility is beneath reproach. That's kind of off topic of this video. But I'd actually like to hear from you on what you think, given these factors of Nikon. 2021 there are going to be more lockdowns. No one's going to travel. No one's going to be buying. Almost nobody's going to be buying. They're going to keep with what they got, and there's nothing wrong with that. Be buying cameras for photography and for travel. The amount of people's expendable income was greatly less in 2020, and it certainly is going to be more so in 2021. I don't know of a single person on this earth that isn't, lying out of their teeth, that is looking forward to another DSLR from Nikon. The only DSLR that they could come out with that would actually impress me, as someone that has owned more Nikon cameras and lenses than any of you, that's not bragging. Oh, this guy's being arrogant and bragging. Well, I don't care if you think that. It's also the truth. But Nikon is not going to come out with anything that would impress me unless, and I know it's not going to happen, would be a hybrid, half mirrorless, because all DSLRs, flip the mirror up out of the way. So a true DSLR, when it takes the image, is a mirrorless camera. It's the design tech around it, and we've talked about this hybrid half mirrorless, half DSLR design, where the screen feeds a pentaprism EVF projection into your eye after it flips the mirror up out of the way. So it can be used as both either a mirrorless camera or a DSLR. And of course, DSLRs suck when it comes to video, and everybody now wants a perfect camera that's also a perfect video camera, which is irrational and unrealistic, but it's what people want. Nikon knows that, Fujifilm, Sony knows that, everybody knows that. Even though it's irrational and stupid, that's what people want. That's the only thing that they could come out with that when my eyebrows would raise and say, good going, Nikon. But given the fact that they've had holes in their pockets, have been losing money now for 3 years, and they're going to continue to lose a lot more money this year. And when those three DSLRs land, let's say it's a D860, slightly improved autofocus, it'll basically be like a D850S. Nikon D3, D3S, D4, D4S. Nikon D6 is not really a Nikon D6, by the way. It's a Nikon D5S. They just called it a D6. That's not going to impress anybody, especially in a crunched economy where when you have your working tools, there's not a single person out there unless it's hardcore product photography. They're using medium format. Necessitated on quite a few jobs. That's going to jump ship from the Nikon D850 to a D860 because it has, a few more frou-frou features. It's not going to happen. It's just not. Nikon has said this, by the way, explicitly. We're going to come out with a few more DSLRs next year. Good! The question is, who cares? Nikon's basically giving an answer to a question no one's asking. Let me repeat that. Nikon's going to be giving an answer to a question that people are not asking for. That's an important factor. I know that wiser minds at Nikon will prevail, and that I doubt that those are going to come out. But they said that they will, so they're going to land like a lead balloon, however. So you tell me what you think. There's a confluence of facts that say Nikon is so up poop creek it's not even funny. And I would appreciate it if you would not lie about me and say, oh, you're just a Nikon hater now, you're just a Fuji fanboy. I still have, even though I sold off, last year I spent $3,500 plus, shipping costs alone, shipping out hundreds of lenses, most of which were Nikon F-mount lenses. I still have like 190 or 230 Nikkor lenses, so don't lie to me and call me a Nikon hater. Don't do that, okay? When I make a video telling the facts about Nikon, oh, you're just a Nikon hater. Please don't lie. You can call me fat, bald, and ugly, and tattooed, which are all factually accurate, but don't call me a Nikon hater. Let's look at the facts. Let's take off the rose-colored glasses and make a logical examination of 2021 for Nikon. I tell you what, if I had Nikon stock, though, I'd be dumping it quick. Actually, if I had Nikon stock, I would have been dumping it a long time ago, but thankfully I don't. I hate to see this happen to Nikon. I really do like the company, despite the fact that they're insanely arrogant. They're run exactly like IBM snobbery. We know better than you, we are Nikon. That doesn't work anymore. That sort of too big to fail mentality has destroyed a lot of companies, and it's been destroying Nikon now for the past few years. They've been myopic, and they've been living in an echo chamber, listening to other people tell them how great they are, and they can't see the broad picture. And they can see it now because the financials are in, and they're cutting all camera production in Japan, which that's a fact. They've been losing money hand over fist. No one out there that I know of, and I mean this serious as a heart attack, gives a hoot in hell about another DSLR from Nikon this year. A D860, 10% faster autofocus, 10% broader autofocus point coverage, which really not possible. It's already as broad as it can get in a DSLR. You have to actually understand the autofocus mech as taken from a semi-reflected, semi-transparent mirror brought to the autofocus mirror, which it's a very, very archaic technology. However, Nikon and others have perfected it over these many decades, but Nikon's in serious trouble. They're going to go the way of Olympus. Not this year. They're not going to go the way of Olympus, but really, I actually see that happening. Either that or they're going to be relegated into oblivion like Pentax. Anyway, tell me what you think. Goodbye.